What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video. And before we get started, if you get to the like button, subscribe, and share. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year. 90% of y'all ain't subscribing, so if y'all can go ahead and hit the subscribe button, you know what I mean? Thank you. But you can tell by the title, I played Ratchet and Clank for the first time, the original game that came out in 2002 on the PlayStation 2. I played it through the PlayStation 2 emulator on PC because the consoles that you can play this game on, I don't have or don't work for me. So, you know, so I played it on the PS2 emulator, and these are my first thoughts and experiences. They give you a background of my knowledge on the series. I've only played the reboot on the PS4, and I've never played any of the original main titles. I did play the spin-off Secret Agent Clank, and I played like the first 2 levels when I was a kid, but it was too difficult for me to understand. I was too young to understand when this what was going on, so I kept dying, so I just never played it again. But this is my first time playing one of the original, like the original main game. Basically, 22 years later, which is insane to me, which is like, yo. So y'all know this game came out in 2002. It was developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony. This will be my thoughts and kind of about my feelings on playing this game and how does it still hold up 20 plus years later. And I must say 100%, I fully recommend this game. This game was a blast. This game was fire, okay? This game was amazing, okay? From start to finish, I thoroughly enjoyed it. A game that's 20 years old still looks great. I mean, I didn't mess with any of the settings or whatever. It still looked good, you know. Maybe it was upscaled a little bit due to like the settings I have naturally for the emulator, but not too drastically where it's like day and night, you know what I mean? The gameplay was solid, and honestly the story was very good. Like, I was engaged the entire way through. I wasn't bored. I wasn't like, oh man, like, let's hurry up, let's get to the end here. I played this game for 13 hours, and I did like most of the content. Like, I did all the side missions, other than like saving up the bolts to get the rhino at the end. I pretty much purchased almost every weapon except like one, because I didn't want to use that weapon. This is pretty much it. But this game is like a solid. I wish more games were like this. And I know they did release Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, but for the price point that they asked for the amount of content that people said is on the game, it wasn't really worth me buying it at that point. But I do plan on playing through the rest of the franchise and seeing how it kind of evolves into the point we got now. But this really blew me away about how detailed it was and the amount of stuff they did on a PS2. You know how like some games you could tell are dated, but the amount of detail, like when you enter a new world, you can literally see every level you're going to explore. Like, I know it's one planet where it's like a factory going on, where you're standing there, you look around, you see, oh, I can go here, I can go here, I can go there. And then when you're playing through the game, you actually get to those points, you can see where you were first standing at. It's kind of crazy, like the scale of it, the amount of stuff they fit into this game. And also the stuff where even the minor details with like the bolts, like think of it as sonic rings, where like, you know, if you don't pick them up fast enough, they disappear. These things literally sit and they roll around and they're just sitting there the entire time. Like, if you don't pick them up, they don't move, you know what I mean? They don't disappear. From what I said, I didn't stand there and looked at them for like 30 minutes, but for it stood there long enough for me to notice. And the gameplay was solid for the time being, you know what I mean? I didn't like how like you had to go in like first person mode to aim certain weapons. Like, that kind of angered me a little bit, because especially when in the later missions where you have to fight like flying enemies, the way the gameplay works is when you fire wherever Ratchet is like looking at, that's where you're firing towards, right? And so the camera doesn't follow Ratchet. You have to manually move the camera. I don't know if this is something on my end or maybe how it was just made, but at some points when you're fighting like a lot of enemies around you, you can't see some of them unless you try to rotate the camera at the same time while also trying to aim and fire. It's like, it's too many things going on for me. Maybe I'm slow. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit dumb. I don't know. But that became like an issue for me, but like it wasn't a big issue where it's like, oh my god, this game is unplayable. Like, no. These are minor gripes that I had. This game is a full-fledged masterpiece for the stuff they did, and the fact that they were trying to put out games yearly. Like, the sequel came out like a year later, or like year or two later, I think, which is insane. But the gameplay itself was like, at certain points you'll be like, okay, I see what you mean, where unless you get like the Tesla claw where you just hold down circle and kind of just zips toward each enemy, but even still, like when you're trying to aim at a certain character, you have to hold down, I think, L1, I think it is, and then you can like first person mode, and then the reticle shows up where you can just aim, and if you have like the Devastator, it kind of locks on, and you shoot your rocket and it just instantly goes to them, whatever. But there were some instances where it was difficult to aim, but it was still fun and enjoyable. Like my favorite weapon had to be either like the Devastator or the Blaster. Like each weapon was unique. It's not all of them wasn't the same. Like each of them had their own characteristics. Even the first weapon you get, the bomb glove, you can still use the first weapon to the end of the game because there's no like upgrade system where you can like put bolts in to like upgrade the damage, stuff like that. Like the weapon that you purchase at that point, that's the same weapon you're gonna have at the end of the game. So it's not anyone can pick their favorite weapon from the start or to the end of the game and stick to that one weapon the entire time. And you just have to keep buying ammo for it, which I really enjoyed. There were certain points where it's like I had to use weapons I wasn't like accustomed to, you know what I mean? Or like I don't use it often because I ran out of ammo. And it's like even then it was still a very fun experience trying the different weapons. Now to the story was fire. Like I ain't gonna lie, like basically the give you the synopsis is Ratchet isn't an engineer stuck on a planet basically, and Clank crash lands on this planet, and Clank has to find Captain Quark to warn him that Chairman Drex is going to like blow up planets and stuff like that. And so they team up together and they go and try to find Captain Quark, and shenanigans ensue and all that stuff, right? During the course of the story, you know, things happen, things develop or whatever, and their relationship kind of gets strained towards the end, where like they're actually like mad at each other. And honestly, the reason, if I'm being honest, those who played the story know what I'm talking about. The reason why Ratchet was mad, I can't blame him, because I'll be tight. You know what I mean? Because if you don't want to know what moment I'm talking about, skip ahead like a minute from now. But when Clank was like, oh yeah, like we should just follow Captain Quirk, and Grant's just like, yo, this is a trap, I don't like this at all. And then he does it anyway, and it turns to be a trap. I'm gonna be mad as fuck too, because like, yo, almost died because you just instantly believed whatever version you believe. Is like, bro, let's relax here. And that's why he was pissed. I'll be mad too, I ain't gonna lie, I'll be mad too. Like, bro, you don't think you're too naive, but he was just made like yesterday. So this story is also very heartfelt. Like there was a moment where like I'm not like, I guess except I'm kind of an emotional person, but like when Clank went back to the factory he was made at, and he talked to the computer that made him, that was like his mom, and this scene literally made me go like, oh, like man, I got tucked in the heartstrings a little bit.
I will try to make you proud, Mom.
Hey, who left this bowl of onions here?
And all the characters were unique. Like each character was like, they had their own personality, and this whole theme of everything is like consumerism and like everything has a price. Like every time you meet a new character, you're paying them from some type of service, where it's like, oh, you need a new ability movement, so you hire there's engineers here, so you pay them 2,000 bolts for this.
Viola, my soon-to-be patented grind boots. Look, I need to get out of here so I can find a new job. How about I sell you these at cost?
Sell? After we just saved your scrawny butt?
All right. I'll give you the employee discount too.
And the bolts are like plentiful, where you always have money to pay them. Like they give you the right amount that you need, and so it feels enjoyable when you get a new upgrade, or even a certain level you get like, you could spend money to get like a bonus health life or whatever. And so that was dope. And before we get into my final thoughts, I still wanted to say, there are some cutscenes that literally have me laughing. Like the writing and the character being witty and sarcastic, stuff like that. Like there is so much humor packed in this game, where you're just watching stuff and you can't help but at least smile at the things that are being said. My favorite cutscene is this one.
The escape transports are taking all the rich folks off this god-darn planet.
So why aren't you on one?
Socioeconomic disparity.
What?
He hasn't got enough bolts.
And it's just Ratchet's reaction. He was like, "What?" Be dead. I was like, "Bruh." Ratchet and Clank's dynamic in this game was amazing. It was fun, and I really enjoyed the experience throughout. My only issue was like, other than like the camera, was pretty much nothing. It was pretty flawless. I ain't gonna lie to you. For the first outing, for a game that was 20 years ago, this was gas. This was gas. And you know what surprised me the most? This game was difficult. The last boss fight was hard as fuck. Anyone who's sitting there talking about, oh yeah, the last boss fight is not that bad, but I died so many times to the final boss that I had to beat the final boss on 1 health. Oh my, I was fuming. Like, I was legit, like, I don't rage. I rage a little bit, but like, this game legit had me frustrated. I was like, are you fucking kidding? I was so fucking mad. I can't even speak. I was heated because it was bullshit, honestly. But they have checkpoints, so it's not like you're restarting. If they had you restart the entire level, I was finna save scum using the emulator. I'll be honest with y'all. I'm not gonna do it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be the first one to admit. All right, I'm gonna be the first one to admit. Listen, they had me restart the entire level, save state, load back that state, go back to that point. I'm not redoing it. I'm sorry. It's not happening. I can't. Hey, I'm only human. Okay. And there's also a bunch of bonus content, like you could play like guess challenge modes, and you could get gold weapons and stuff like that, and all this other stuff you could do. So it's like a good replayability. And so this game is just like off the chain. I'm over here just glowing just thinking about this game. Like, the amount of stuff that they did in this game is incredible. I honestly recommend this game. If y'all have the PS2 emulator, I recommend by finding, you know, ways to download the game, you know, sell the 7 Cs or whatever, to download and purchase this game. We need to bring platformers back, but I know you're gonna say this like, oh, you didn't even buy Rift Apart. Hey, I'm not spending $60 for a 10-hour game. I'm sorry. I know this game could be packed with content, but for 6 hours, I'm sorry. I don't know how long the length it really is, but people say it's on the shorter side, and I'm broke. Okay, we're in a recession. I can't I can't be spending money like that on a game that might have me satisfied for like a day or two when I'm done with it. No way. I already fumbled with Spider-Man Miles Morales spending $30 for a 5-hour game. No way. But those are my thoughts. Let me know down below. Have y'all played the original Ratchet and Clank? What were y'all thoughts? Do y'all think about going back to it? I'll be in the comments. Thank you. Peace out.